fictional friendships, because today is Friendship Friday, and fictional friendships have a lot of influence on your goals in real life. Anyways, the first fictional friendship that I wanted to talk about was Anne and Leslie from Parks and Rec. Their friendship is so important, and the show really is about their friendship rather than a romantic story, which so many shows are about. Like The Office, it's often compared to The Office, when The Office is really more about Jim and Pam's relationship, which is a romantic relationship, as opposed to a relationship like Anne and Leslie's, where it's very much just friendship. They care about each other with no ulterior motives, no motives to want to get farther with each other. They don't want anything except for companionship from one another, and that's very important. Each of these women is able to call out things that they see that their friend could improve about themselves. Even though it might be a little bit of fighting at first, their friends are able to take that criticism and improve who they are with it. And that's so important in a friendship, to be able to be like, hey, I noticed that you did this to me the other day, and that wasn't cool. That was real crappy of you. And have your friend be like, oh, you are right, and try to fix it. I don't think that that's shown a lot on television. I don't think conflict is often shown, especially in the manner that they tend to have conflict, where it's not conflict about a man or about an external thing, but it's conflict about how they interact with one another, which happens a lot in real life, obviously, because humans interact with humans, who knew? But it's not shown a lot, and I love seeing that. I love seeing a good example of how friends should treat each other, and I love seeing a good example of how just humans should treat each other, even if they're not friends. They're not asking for changes in each other's character, they're asking for changes in respect, I guess, would be a good word for it. Another relationship I wanted to talk about was that of Jane and Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice. I love these two sisters. I have a sister of my own, and she is my closest friend, one of my biggest confidants. She's just so important to me, and I love seeing that represented in fiction. Jane Austen also showed the fact that sisters aren't always necessarily that close, because that's something that happens too. Sometimes you just don't get along with the people that you're related to, and that is fine. The focus on Jane and Elizabeth's relationship is really important to me personally. So good, and they support each other through thick and thin, and they're always there for each other, whether one of them had something crappy happen or whether their whole family is going through something. They are especially there for each other. Even though by the end, Elizabeth is engaged to Mr. Darcy, and Jane didn't know that Elizabeth cared for Mr. Darcy. She's not upset at Elizabeth for keeping her feelings hidden, because that is just part of who Elizabeth is. Jane understands that, and Jane doesn't nitpick at her sister for something that doesn't matter that much, I think is a really good quality. Those two just stick together, and I love that. I love seeing a sister relationship that's also a friend relationship, and it's just what I'm about. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Ron, Harry, and Hermione in Harry Potter. I love that the theme of the Harry Potter books, again, is friendship and caring for one another as human beings. That is such an important theme throughout human history to be reminded of. I love seeing that theme in books and in movies because it's such a great thing to be reminded of. The fact that Ron, there's no subtext that he had some kind of ulterior motive with Hermione from the beginning. He was literally just her friend at the beginning, and their relationship did develop into a romantic one, but that does not make it a lesser relationship than, for example, Ron's relationship with Harry. They're allowed to coexist and have different relationships with each other within their three-person friendship. I think it's a really awesome thing when I see a three-person friendship written in fiction, because I had a lot of three-person friendships when I was a kid, and some of them didn't work out, but some of them really did. And a lot of times you'll get jealous because, oh, this person is better friends with this person that I consider my best friend, blah, 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 blah. And that doesn't need to happen. Just like Mindy says in the Mindy Project, best friend is a rank. It doesn't have to be just one person. It can be a lot of people. I have so many people who I consider my best friends, and none of them are any better than the others. I would feel sad for the person feeling jealousy if they said, I feel jealous because I think that you like this other best friend of yours more than you like me. And I'm like, that is not the case. No. And I am glad to see something in fiction where best friends are allowed to just be best friends and there's no competition for being the one best friend of your best friend. And then the last one I wanted to talk about is Shae and Sansa in Game of Thrones. And Game of Thrones is quite a gory show. It's got some very scary stuff in it, and it's got some adult stuff in it, so if you're not an adult, don't be watching it. But one really redeeming aspect of the show is Shae and Sansa's relationship. And they're both kind of competing for this one man. They still care about each other. I just finished season 3, so no spoilers 3, please. Sansa doesn't really know that Shae is in love with Tyrion, but Shae bears no hard feelings towards Sansa for the things that have happened to her. I don't think anybody would blame her if she did have those feelings, but she is so emotionally mature that she is able to understand that it's not Sansa's fault that she got married off to somebody she didn't want to be married off to. Shae continues to protect Sansa, and Sansa elevates Shae and respects her in ways that many, many people in her culture tend to not respect people in Shae's position. And it's just such a cool relationship because these women care about each other no matter what. And I will be happy to watch that develop in later seasons. So anyways, those are some fictional relationships and my take on them. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button because I'd love to see you back here. And I will see you later. Peace out, friendos.